Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where once again we look into the future, but from a different place, from a much higher level than we've ever looked from before. As we talk about that elevated platform of living, you can feel the energies rise by themselves. And you can feel yourself lifting, but not in the form that you can explain. Lifting above all the elements and lifting into a world that you didn't think existed. We're about to explore that world a little more and to show you all that you have access to everything. Access to facilities that you've never used before. Access to abilities that have never occurred to you. So now, in a light-hearted manner, we can chase our spirit all around every part of the universe, or even just around our own home, and find something new in every second. Just like when we were children, we could play games that didn't exist, but we made them real and we enjoyed every moment. And we continue to watch children do that throughout the ages. So in taking on the possibility that we missed something, we can look past that veil that's so cunningly put in front of us every day, even by ourselves. We're programmed to talk about the things that we can't do. We're programmed to talk about the things that have got nothing to do with us. And we're also programmed to feel that we have no control over anything. But inside us, there's that thing that always says, well, that's not right. Of course we can. Of course we can access anything we want. And of course we can change the world. And we can change our own way of being. But then you come up with your own story of how will I do that? So now we're going to go past the how and actually demonstrate that you've been doing it all your life. And we've mentioned this many times before, how out of nowhere you know there's something wrong with your child or a friend, or you know there's something that's not really good on the other side of the room, or in the car park you feel unsafe, or you feel quite at home. And you're accessing something that's quite familiar to you, but outside your realm of explanation. Many thousands of things that happen in your life every day are now coming forward as a reality that you can speak about and joke about and have fun with. You can find a parking spot when there's none. You can determine that it's going to rain tomorrow or next week or soon, or whatever way you like to measure it. And in a light-hearted way, it's part of your life. But when we bring the serious things in that says we have to make things work, we turn all this off and we start laboring hard at nothing. So when you look at that, you can take your logic and do what you like with it, because it is not real logic. It's induced logic, which is induced by circumstance that makes you make decisions that were not necessary. So in a practical sense, if we live on top of the trampoline, no matter how hard we're pushed down, we've bounced back up again. And it happens automatically because we've decided to be on top of the trampoline. You can decide to ride the wave, and you will ride the wave, and you don't really care how much turbulence is underneath you. That turbulence will hold you at a level where you can feel the magic. You can feel the thrill of the ride and feel the thrill of living. I've written 2 books about the magic of life, and they take on all the unknown circumstances of another world that's identical to ours, but only accessible by those who are actually born there or who have been delivered through a vortex to that place. And the strange things that happen in those stories, you've seen happen around you all the time, and you think it's fantasy, but it's not. It's a real story, and it is the magic of life. Wow, we nearly had a power failure then. So don't be surprised if we get all sorts of unusual interruptions to change circumstances so that we go in different directions. The circumstances of every moment of your life will present a new life to you. It's like you've just changed channels on the TV. And the slightest thing can change your channel and give you a different focus and give you a different world in a moment. And many times we're directed in a different direction for our own progress forward or for our own safety. Just like you do if there's a child near a broken glass, you immediately attract their attention to something else so that you can gradually move over to them and move them out of the road. And they don't really know that somebody's concerned about the possibility of them cutting themselves. Our life is the same. There are many little interferences that happen to make sure that we don't experience what we're not supposed to experience, even though it may be happening around us. And then we have a power failure. So our lighting has changed. And I think we've lost our internet. We're still waiting on it coming back. We're live. Our internet is coming on and off. So we hopefully are online. We'll continue and we'll see what happens. But this is the first time we've had a real power failure in the middle of a transmission. We've got some power, but we'll keep going. Our computers are still working. And we just lost some lights. Okay. There you go. We still have the internet on, and it was just a sudden power surge, and we dropped one of the floodlights. So there you go. We're back, and we just got a message to say it's okay. So as we were talking about disturbances and how they can change your whole approach to everything, it happened. And out of nowhere, we have a signal that says we're live, and we had no lights. We had a a message to tell us that everything is okay, so we're continuing. So in looking at what we can do to maintain ourselves above the level that we're used to and beyond the limits of that veil that's presented to us on a daily basis, the opposite to what we would expect gives you the result. Simplicity and how it works for everyone takes you to the next level. The simplicity of knowing that there's nothing hard about anything, and knowing that you can look past the veil of all the things that are placed in front of you and see something entirely different. It may not make sense, but you have available to you a multitude of worlds that pop in and out whenever they are required. And right now, because we're talking about it, it's disturbing itself. And it's attempting to become the only reality that we live. Because of the laws that we agreed to, that says everything will maintain itself in the same direction and all those strange things. Newton's laws, all the scientific laws, we don't have to stick to. We can look past anything. We can look in someone's eyes and know what they're feeling, what they're thinking. And we can have our back to somebody and know what they're feeling and thinking. So why would we not delve further and see what's on the other side of what we've been told is our standard? Some might say, well, we're not intelligent enough for that. But the intelligence that comes with looking further actually exists where you're looking. So if you can't see a particular pattern, even in a mountain, and someone explains it to you, as soon as you see it once, you have the intelligence to have that in your life and to see what it is and what it can do for you. So there's no need to build anything. It's only a case of, as you move forward, so does your intelligence. You don't have to have it first. And you don't have to learn anything. You just have to be aware of it. It's like when you study for an exam, you study and study and study, and then you think, oh, I've had enough. And then all of a sudden, the light comes on. You go, oh, I've got it. I know what that's about. And you can go ahead and maybe not pass an exam, but you can use everything that's come to you, which will probably be in excess of all the books. And so a child can give you an answer to a difficult problem, but they can't tell you how to work it out. All the amazing mathematicians give you answers immediately, faster than the computer can work it out, because that intelligence comes with you venturing into that field. So if you have a feeling that you'd like to actually venture into any field at all, once you venture into it, you have the tools. You don't have to look for the tools. You don't have to educate yourself so that you can do it. Much of the work of personal development is based on exposing people to a higher level of living than they're used to. Taking them to great hotels, taking people to great hotels, to great holiday spots, mixing with the elite, going to balls that you wouldn't even be invited to. And what happens is the exposure to that different life advances a person's personal picture of themselves without them knowing how it happens. And all of a sudden, they find that they can take on whatever part of life they would like to. They can actually be in high society, and they don't have to have millions of dollars to do it. And as they advance into high society, the particular requirements that they have to have around money and position and education come to them. It might not be immediate, but it always happens. So in moving past what we know, the simplest way is just move. Take a step. You can't build a sandcastle until you start. And you won't even know what it is until you start, and a few things fall over and you have to change things, and you work your way through, and you end up with a masterpiece that people appreciate. But in that masterpiece, you have the knowledge of how to do it again, but better. And you didn't go to school to do that. You simply moved into the field where it's all available. The greatest tacticians in the world, sailing, in maneuvering, anything, driving cars, all relates to the ability of the person. A race car driver can go around a corner faster than the design figures say you can, because we can actually change direction and pull a car around with our energies. A horse rider can actually sit steady when the horse is going up and down at an enormous rate and the head hardly moves. Someone can stand on the deck of a boat and without moving, they're perfectly vertical and the boat's bouncing around all over the place. So we have attributes that we're not really using. But we don't have to worry about it, because as soon as they're needed, they come into action. So the next thing is we have the opportunity to take action, as small as it may be. You will feel your courage rise. You will feel the energy fields bounce up around you and start moving. And all of a sudden, you find that you only had to do one thing: move into another field. And it took a fraction of a second, and you physically moved your energies and not your body. But moving your body will encourage the movement of your fields. So the more animated you are, the more exciting your field is. and the more beautiful your presentation is in the world. So we're coming back to our ability in the physical world. All holds are barred, meaning there's no rule that cannot be broken. But it doesn't have to be broken as an opposition. It's broken by doing it differently. You can achieve whatever you want as long as you're not trying to achieve somebody else's goal. And you'll find that your flexibility just comes from nowhere as soon as you start to follow your spirit. Your eyes start to glow. All the things that you really can't explain that are attached to your being and your life start to enhance themselves and really shine in front of you. And second after second, you know where to go. But you can't think about it. It just happens. So the formula for simplicity is do as little as you can, as many times as you can, and watch what happens. And you don't have to look towards any help because it is there. Looking for help is saying, give me what I need before I move. And that's where we've been for many, many years. And now we're in a position where we can say, oh, let's just move. And you don't have to say it to anybody except yourself. The quality of your life and the magic of life is what it's all about. Be it influenced by spiritual, influenced by the universe, influenced by your surroundings. It's all about the magic of life. And the feeling of that magic in your body is the most enhancing feeling ever known to mankind. And as that builds, you smile and you start to send it out. Not to yourself, not to anyone in particular, but just send it out. Because you have to make room for more. And that flow in and out of your system, up and down your spine, in and out of all the sparkles around you, generates more and more power every second and makes it available for the world and available for anybody coming along. And the more you do, the more you're capable of doing. So we've gone around a big circle where we've looked at the world and said it's no good, we'll just have to get rid of all our old thinking and all our old feelings and all our limitations. And now we're coming back in and we're enhancing all those things once again so that the magic is on top and not underneath. So that the magic is what hits you first, not the problems. And the magic is the very thing that you came here to display to the world. Your own magic and your own field. And you'll see people starting to actually grow in a way that excites you. And you'll notice that they're interesting and they have immense value for everybody else. And as you see one person expand, you'll see more. But you'll see it from where you have expanded to. So it's worth noting that the only comparison you should make is with you and the way you see you. Not the way you see you because of your programming, but the way you see you from your origin. The original being that came into this world with an enormous amount of, like we say in Australia, gusto, which means you really kicked up the dust. You changed a family. You built a family. You changed the world around you. You built a place for yourself. And for many of us who've gone through years of life, we've seen that starts to taper off because of all the mundane processing that we've had to go through. Now we can go back and look all that processing in the face, smile, lift our energy and pop it into nowhere. And it'll just make all that stale energy new and available for everyone. It'll generate the systems that are needed to support us and the people that are coming after us. And it won't deteriorate, because if we see anything that's deteriorating, we'll just hit it with another blast of magic. And out of nowhere, someone will rush up and want to fix it. We'll want to rebuild the road. We'll want to make our life much, much better. So in entering, I suppose it's back into the world, you're now coming in with courage, capability, elegance, and an intelligence that can see beyond what was limited to your previous intelligence. Who can see that it's not just right and wrong, it's only right. Just needs the right balance. You can only have right and wrong if you start dividing everything up into segments. When you are in the world of your creator, it all exists. It all goes into the right place and it all takes the right form. Just like the water in a pond, as it's moving, it's clear. If it sits around, it goes stagnant. Same water, same elements. But the movement creates another format of the same world that's perfect for us. So maintain the movement, maintain the interaction with one another. Continue to enjoy the magic of life. And know that you don't have to depend on anything or anyone. If it looks like it's going bad, just walk straight into it. It will disappear. And it doesn't take courage. Courage comes at that point. As soon as you start to make the step forward, the courage is there, the facilities are there, and the money will be there. So watch what happens in the very near future. And you'll see that people will generate what they need, not through the systems that they're limited to, but through new systems that they brought into the world from other worlds. And in talking about other worlds, I could go on for hours, and I will in the future, because we need to know about all them other worlds. We built a lot of them. We've been there. We've done that, and now we're doing this. And now we're creating a special place for everyone where it's not hard work. It's not labor intensive. It's full of movement and joy and happiness. And in that way, we exert more energy, we expel more energy, we generate more energy than we can ever do by sitting still and leaving the world to collapse. So understand your position and stir up the energies. Don't look at anything in particular. Just feel it. Feel the colours, feel the enjoyment. Feel your eyes come bright and your body respond. And we'll all have a beautiful life. And we'll all talk about the magic of life and how well it is working for us. So once again, our gift to you. We wish you a perfect life, perfect health, and a very magic future. Thank you.